Hi, Kelly Bowen from Lifestyle Finance Australia, and I would like to chat with you about breaking the habit of living on the edge financially. So, working in finance, I see a lot of things, and one thing that really keeps showing up, which is why I want to have a chat about it, is how often I see people unnecessarily living to the edges of their financial means when they don't need to be. Now, what do I mean by that and why is it a problem? Okay, so firstly, when we're constantly living on the edges of our grids, like we're sort of like maxed out and we're living week to week, what it does, it puts us into the space of scarcity. And if we stay in this space of scarcity and lack for extended periods of time, even when more money comes in, we will find all sorts of magical ways to lose this money, to spend this money for some bill to come up that really unexpected, and now all that money that extra money that you've just got, you've got to pay for this bill. So it starts to get ingrained in our nervous system like a habit, because our nervous system hasn't been conditioned to abundance, it's conditioned to scarcity. So what we really want to do here is learn how to break this habit of living on the edge financially, so we can start embedding and entraining our nervous systems into abundance, because abundance and scarcity are both a vibration, and what our nervous system is attuned to, which is what creates our frequency, is the vibration it will create for us. So we want to create and attune our nervous systems to abundance so that our external environment starts to reflect it. So here's two really big ways that I see on a day-to-day basis showing up in the brokerage how people are living on the edge financially. So number one is that they have had an increase in their income, so they automatically up their lifestyle and start increasing their living expenses. So really, that gain that they've had, they've literally just handed it out the other door with all of their living expenses. So, and then the second way that I see this show up, and this is something that's really easy to do something about, is when people are looking at finance, they choose loan terms that are sometimes too short. And you're probably wondering, why is that a problem? Isn't it great if I choose a short loan term and I pay it off quickly, properly and quickly, preferably. But really what the problem with it is, when you have a short loan term, that means your repayments on that loan as the minimal commitment are going to be, depending upon how much you borrow, but just let's use this example, they're going to be pretty high. And with that, if you have life happen or something comes up, instead of you being able to have a little bit of flexibility with how you manage these repayments, you're still forced to commit into this larger repayment. And if you're already living at 80 to 90% of your income capacity, that's going to really hurt. It doesn't leave you much space for planning for the future or having some money aside for when life happens. Now, what I usually like to suggest with people to help shift this is choose a longer loan term. Most lenders these days, when you take a loan, let you pay out early for no extra fees. So it doesn't hurt to have a longer loan term. And instead of taking, for example, 5 years to pay out your loan, work out what the 2-year repayment would be and still pay that amount. And then if life happens, you're not committed to having that 2-year repayment commitment. You can order that month, you can drop it straight back to what the minimal 5-year commitment would be, which automatically gives you a bunch of money back. So it just gives you a little bit of flexibility. And when you're personally thinking about finance and you're looking at loan terms, think about it from this perspective, not about like, oh, I want to pay this off really quickly, but think about it more so from the perspective of how much of my capacity and how much to the edges of my financial grid am I willing to go to, and how much buffer or space within that do I want to be able to have for me, because that'll create this little bit of space and flexibility in terms of how you manage your repayment, and it won't make you feel like you're in scarcity because you bought finance. And remember, what you feel is what you create. So if you're feeling lack and scarcity, you're going to create all kinds of magical things to have that show up. And just like on the flip side with abundance, it's going to be the same. So in breaking this, there's two things that we can do really quickly to shift it. So the first one is the feeling one. So learn how to pay yourself first. So I've kind of touched on that a little bit with choosing maybe a longer loan term, but paying it off a bit quicker. But when you learn to pay yourself first, it's breaking the habit of everything that comes in means everything has to go out. And now let's define what pay yourself first means, because when I first heard it, I thought it meant that I got to pay me first for all the things that I wanted to go and do, and then the leftover part was for the bills and the repayments and all of that kind of stuff. But that's not quite how it works. Paying yourself first means paying some money, even if it's a small percentage, even if it's like 5% into an account that you're saving and investing in, because this starts to create a habit of building abundance and building wealth into your frequency, into your behavior, into your nervous system. And then with what's left over, that's where you have your play money and you're paying bills money. But paying yourself first doesn't mean go do your instant gratifications like I thought it did. I was like, beauty, awesome, let's go. Not quite what it means. So pay yourself first, build a wealth account, and then use the rest of it for your general living. And that way you'll always have some kind of money left over in case life does happen and you're starting to build abundance into your nervous system. Now, the second thing that you can do, and this will give you potentially instant cash flow if you do this correctly, and that's if you do have any existing debts or things on short loan terms and they're kind of pinching a little bit, is consolidate. This is something that we do all the time, and when you consolidate, often if you've got like a couple of credit cards and personal loans, the amount that you're paying out each month on each one of those is significantly more than what it would be if you put them all in one loan and you had just one repayment to deal with. Because when it's all together, we can minimize the interest rate, we can minimize your outgoings and create that space within your weekly income where this is really easy. It just, it's a no-brainer. It comes out of your account. You've got some money left over to build that wealth account and you start to feel abundant again. So if you've loved this and you know some friends that might get value from it, please by all means share, tag a friend. And also if you do have some existing debts that you'd like to have a chat about consolidating and see what's available, please get in contact. Personal loan rates are cheaper than I have ever seen them, and it's definitely worth taking advantage of it. So click the link somewhere above below and follow the prompts and we'll take care of the rest.